Chapter 1: The Birth of a Fiery World Tonight. You are about to witness an Earth that no human has ever seen. Before you lies a world with no blue oceans, no white clouds, and no green land. This is Earth, 4.6 billion years ago, newly born, drifting silently through space. You slowly gaze upon this young planet. Its entire surface glows a deep red, as if a gigantic flame were floating in the darkness of the universe. There is no sign of life, no birds singing, no waves rolling onto a shore, no trees swaying in the wind. There is only the endless silence of space and a young world that never stops burning. You begin to drift closer to the planet. As you approach, you notice that its surface is constantly moving. But this is not an ocean. It is an endless sea of molten rock, stretching all the way to the horizon. Rivers of glowing lava flow without end, while brilliant light pours from enormous cracks in the planet's crust. The molten rock moves, slowly, almost as though the planet itself is breathing. As you quietly watch this ancient world, a tiny point of light appears, far out in space. It is a piece of rock, traveling toward Earth. Moments later, it crashes into the glowing surface. A brilliant flash fills the darkness, and molten rock rises high into the air. Yet, this is nothing unusual. On the young Earth, rocks of every size fell from space, day after day, and night after night. Each collision helped shape the planet, bringing it one step closer to the world we know today. You drift even closer. Looking around, you realize there is no blue sky. The atmosphere you know today does not yet exist. Instead, thick clouds of hot gases surround the planet. Beyond them, the young sun shines faintly, casting its light across the fiery world. Even during the day, Earth continues to glow red, and when darkness falls, the oceans of lava keep the planet illuminated. No one lives here, not yet. And still, this is truly the beginning of our home. The burning world before your eyes will spend billions of years transforming, forming vast oceans, raising continents, giving birth to the very first life, and eventually becoming the blue planet where humanity will one day look up at the stars. Far away, another piece of rock slowly drifts toward Earth. The glowing surface never stops changing. In this world, where there are no oceans and no life, the planet is quietly preparing for its future. There is no need to hurry. Simply watch the changes unfold. Wrapped in the endless silence of space, you continue your journey alongside the young Earth into the depths of deep time. Chapter 2: When the Moon Was Born. Drifting through the silence of space, you continue to gaze at the young Earth glowing red below. The planet is still, slowly releasing its heat, receiving countless falling rocks, and gradually changing its shape. There is no peaceful land yet, only waves of molten rock and brilliant light pouring from deep cracks in the surface. Around Earth, rocks of every size drift quietly beneath the light of the young sun. Nothing is complete, not the Earth, not the sky, and not even the moon that will one day shine above it. The moon you know does not yet exist. When night falls, there is no moonlight, only the faint glow of distant stars and the red light of lava below. But this quiet scene is about to change forever. You drift farther from Earth and look into the darkness. At first, there is nothing. Then, far away, a faint point of light begins to move. It is not a star. It slowly grows larger until its outline appears, a vast rocky world, almost as large as Mars. In the distant future, humanity will call it Theia, but now there is no one to give it a name. Theia moves silently toward the young Earth. There is no wind, no roar, and no sound to announce its approach, only the endless quiet of space. The distance between the two worlds slowly begins to close. Earth pulls Theia closer, and Theia pulls upon Earth in return. On the surface below, the ocean of molten rock begins to rise and move, as if responding to the gravity of the approaching world. Theia grows larger, filling more of your view. Its surface is covered with valleys, craters, and ancient scars. There is no life there, no ocean, no forest, and no peaceful sky. Only rock, heat, and time. The two young worlds are now moving toward the same place. From Earth, Theia would appear larger each day. At first, a small light, then a vast circle, and finally, a world covering much of the sky. If anyone had been there to see it, it may have seemed as though the sky itself were falling. But no one is there, only you and the distant stars. Before long, almost no space remains between the two worlds. The red glow of Earth reflects across the surface of Theia, and then the enormous world reaches the young Earth. In the next moment, the two planets collide. The surface of Earth bends and twists as a brilliant flash fills the darkness. The light spreads so widely that the shape of Earth itself disappears within it. Rock from Theia and rock from Earth melt under the overwhelming heat. Some becomes vapor, while countless fragments are thrown outward into space. Enormous pieces of glowing rock spread around the planet. Smaller fragments, fine grains, and droplets of molten stone follow behind them. It looks as though wings of fire have opened from the Earth. From a distance, you watch in silence. For a moment, it seems that Earth has been broken apart. A great part of the surface is torn away, and the entire planet begins to melt once again. Theia does not remain whole either. Much of it mixes with Earth, and the two worlds have become one new planet. It is destruction, but also a new beginning. Around Earth, the fragments from the collision remain. They do not disappear. Instead, Earth's gravity holds them nearby, and they begin to orbit. The glowing rocks form a vast ring around the planet, almost like the rings of Saturn. But these rings are not made of ice. They are made of heated stone. Red and orange fragments circle the young Earth, dimming when they pass through its shadow and glowing brightly again when they return to the sunlight. You drift slowly along the ring around you. There are fragments as large as mountains, pieces as large as houses, and grains as small as sand. Again and again, they move together and collide. Small fragments join larger pieces, and the larger bodies attract even more material. The moon does not form in one moment. It takes time. Countless pieces of rock slowly gather until one great body begins to emerge. At first, it is uneven, covered in ridges and hollows. But as more material collects, its gravity becomes stronger. Its shape grows rounder. Its interior becomes hotter, and parts of its surface begin to melt. You watch as this new world moves around Earth. This is the beginning of the moon, the world that humanity will one day look toward in the night, used to measure time, fill with stories, and eventually walk upon. But the newly born moon is very different from the moon today. It is not cold or pale or quiet. Its surface still glows red, and parts of it are covered in molten rock. Fragments continue to strike it, sending new flashes across the surface. Earth and moon are both young, both hot, and both constantly changing. The moon is also far closer to Earth than it is today. It appears many times larger, filling a wide part of the sky. You move toward the young Earth, passing through thick layers of gas. Below you, an ocean of lava stretches across the surface. Above it, the sky is dark, filled with smoke and vapor. Then, from beyond the horizon, the enormous moon slowly begins to rise. At first, you see only a broad red curve. Then more of it appears, until its vast shape fills the sky. It is closer, larger, and brighter than the moon you know. Its glowing regions shine between darker areas, and new impacts flash across its surface. If you could stand upon this ancient earth, the moon would not seem like a distant light. It would feel like part of the sky itself. As the moon rises, its gravity pulls upon Earth. There are no true oceans yet, but the molten surface and the hot rock beneath it move under the moon's influence. One side of the planet rises slightly toward the moon, while another great bulge forms on the opposite side. As Earth rotates, these tidal forces travel around the world. The lava rises, then slowly falls. Rock splits apart, new cracks open, and hotter material flows upward from below. The moon also begins to change the rotation of Earth. At this time, the planet spins much faster. A single day is far shorter than it is now. Day and night follow one another quickly, slowly. The moon takes energy from Earth's rotation. The planet's spinning begins to slow, and the length of each day gradually increases. At the same time, the moon begins to move farther away, but the change is slow. Across years, thousands of years, and millions of years, the distance grows, little by little. You watch from beyond time as the enormous moon continues to cross the sky. Sometimes it passes before the sun, casting a vast shadow across the burning earth. For a moment, the red world becomes dark. Then, the moon moves onward. The sunlight returns, and the lava glows once more. Earth and moon continue through space, each shaping the other. The moon circles Earth. Earth holds the moon, and the two worlds remain joined by invisible gravity. Their relationship will continue for billions of years. One day, Earth will cool and true oceans will appear. Then, the gravity of the moon will move the water. The seas will rise and fall, washing across the shores. Water will wear away the rocks, carry minerals, and help prepare the environments where life may begin. Without the moon, Earth may have become a very different world. The length of the day, the movement of the oceans, and perhaps even the future of life may not have been the same. The moon before you is not simply a light in the night sky. Its gravity will slowly reshape Earth and influence the planet across the ages. You drift away once more and look upon both worlds together. On one side, the young Earth burns red. On the other, the newly formed moon still glows with heat. Between them, A few remaining fragments continue to drift. Some will fall to Earth or Moon, while others will travel into deeper space. As time passes, the region becomes calmer. The flashes of collision grow less frequent. The ring of rock begins to disappear, and the shapes of Earth and Moon become clearer. Within the darkness, the two worlds continue to glow. Earth is no longer alone. Beside it, there is now a moon that will travel with it for billions of years. In the distant future, oceans will form, life will appear, and humanity will look upward. The moon will light the paths of travelers, help people measure time, and inspire stories, dreams, and legends. But for now, that story has only begun. The moon has no name, and no one stands below to look toward its light. It simply moves through the silence of space beside the young Earth. There is no need to hurry. You quietly watch as the enormous moon moves behind the planet and slowly disappears. Red light from Earth outlines its dark shape. Then, the moon appears again, continuing its path around the world. The moon, born from collision, and Earth, forever changed by its presence. Within the long history of the universe, what appears to be an ending can become a new beginning. The collision did not simply tear the Earth apart. It gave the planet its moon and began guiding this world toward the Earth we know today. Wrapped in the silence of space, you continue to watch the young Earth and the newly born moon. The two worlds turn slowly, move slowly apart, and travel together into the long ages ahead. And you drift quietly beside them, continuing deeper and deeper into the vastness of time. Chapter 3: The First Rain Never Ends. The newly born moon continues to circle quietly around the young Earth. You drift between Earth and Moon, watching the red planet glow below. A long time has passed since the enormous collision. The fragments of rock that once surrounded Earth have slowly begun to disappear, and space has grown quieter. But the surface below still releases immense heat. Red lava stretches toward the horizon, and from enormous cracks, heated material rises from deep within the planet. There is still no peaceful land, no blue ocean, no white clouds, and no rivers. And yet, Earth has begun to change. You move closer toward the atmosphere. A thick layer of gas surrounds the planet, but it is nothing like the sky you know today. The air is filled with volcanic gases, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, sulfur-rich gases, and enormous amounts of water vapor. Water released from deep inside Earth cannot yet remain liquid. It rises as vapor and spreads across the sky. You enter the thick atmosphere. The world around you quickly disappears. Above, below, everything is hidden. Inside gray vapor, far beneath the clouds, a red glow moves through the darkness. It is lava, still flowing across the surface. Hot air rises, while cooler air sinks. The entire atmosphere moves around the planet in vast currents. You drift within them. Earth is still, far too hot for life. The air burns, the ground glows, and much of the surface remains molten. But as heat escapes into space, the planet begins to cool. The change is slow, almost invisible, across a day or even a year, but over thousands and tens of thousands of years, Earth gradually loses its heat. Parts of the lava begin to harden. Across the red surface, a thin shell of black rock appears. It is fragile and unstable. Whenever lava rises from below, the crust breaks and red light pours through the cracks again. The rock cools, breaks, melts, and hardens once more. Above the surface, water vapor continues to rise, but high in the atmosphere, a new change begins. The vapor becomes tiny drops of liquid water. They gather around ash and fine particles of rock, slowly growing larger. Thick gray clouds begin to spread. The surface disappears. The stars vanish. Even the young sun struggles to shine through. Earth becomes a planet wrapped in cloud. Inside those clouds, the droplets begin to join together. One drop meets another and becomes heavier. Soon, the air can no longer hold it. Close beside you, a single drop begins to fall. It is one of the first raindrops ever to descend upon the young earth. It falls in through the clouds toward the heated surface, but before it reaches the ground, it vanishes, turning back into vapor. Another drop follows and disappears as well. The rain has begun, but earth is still too hot. Water falls, evaporates, rises, forms clouds, and falls once again. Across a great stretch of time, this cycle slowly carries heat away from the planet. You descend beneath the clouds. Countless raindrops fall through the dark sky. As they approach the surface, many become steam. The world fills in with mist. Beyond it, red rivers of lava move across the ground. Each time water touches the heated rock, white vapor rises. The rain grows heavier. Small drops become an endless downpour. Water falls, and from the dark clouds, without pause. It is not a brief storm. It does not end after an hour or after a day. The rain continues through day, through night, and across ages. The moon moves above, but thick clouds hide it from the surface. The sun rises, but the sky remains dark. Only faint light reaches the ground. Rain falls upon black rock, upon flowing lava, and into deep cracks. Most of it still becomes vapor. But as earth cools, not every drop disappears. Some water begins to remain. At first, only small pools form inside hollows in the black rock. Steam rises from their surfaces, and every falling drop creates a ripple. Some pools vanish when heat rises from below, but the rain does not stop. Soon, the pools last longer. One joins another, and narrow streams begin to move across the dark ground. You watch the first flowing water on Earth. It is not calm. The water is hot and surrounded by steam. It moves between rocks and touches red lava, creating clouds of vapor. Water enters cracks in the cooling surface. When it reaches hot rock below, it becomes steam and bursts upward again. Earth has become a world where water and fire meet. Rain cools the rock. Lava turns water into vapor. Together, they slowly reshape the surface of the planet. Hot water flows across newly formed stone. It wears away the surface and carries fragments toward lower ground. There is no soil, no grass, no trees, not even moss. Only black rock, hot water, and endless rain. Streams join and grow wider. They fill valleys and low places. At first, small lakes appear, but the rain continues without pause. The water rises, the lakes spread, overflow, and join one another. 1,000 years pass, then 10,000, 100,000, and far more. Across an age almost impossible to imagine, rain continues to fall. For millions of years, water beats against the young earth. You remain outside the normal flow of time, watching the planet change. The red glow slowly fades. Lava remains visible only around volcanoes and deep cracks. Everywhere else, dark land and growing bodies of water begin to appear. Earth is changing from a world of fire into a world of rain. You rise above the clouds. From space, the planet appears, covered in white and gray. The surface is almost hidden. The rain cannot be heard. From here, everything appears silent. Only the cloud-covered earth and the enormous moon remain before you. But beneath the clouds, the longest rain in Earth's history is still falling. You descend again through the atmosphere. As you approach the ground, a vast surface of water appears below. Dark water stretches beyond the horizon. Waves strike the black rock. The water is still hot and restless. Steam rises from the surface. In some places, lava flows directly into the young sea. The water moves violently, and white vapor fills the air. Then the lava cools and hardens, forming new black rock. More lava follows, and the water cools it again. In this way, Earth's early crust slowly takes shape. Water and rock continue to meet. The young ocean dissolves minerals from the heated land. Rainwater carries more material into the sea. The ocean is becoming more than water alone. Many substances are beginning to mix within its depths, but there are still no fish, no plants, and no visible life. Only dark water, hot rock, and countless materials moving together. The world appears empty, and yet the preparation for life has already begun. Rain strikes the surface of the sea. Countless ripples spread, overlap, and disappear. You move slowly above the water. The sound of rain fills the world. Water touches water. Waves move against the rock. Steam rises into the dark sky. Together, they create the first rhythm of the young earth. There are no birds, no insects, no leaves moving in the wind, only rain, water, and the distant movement of the land. You continue on to watch the ocean grow. Places once covered in red lava are now hidden beneath dark water. Only the highest peaks remain above the surface. They are unstable and sometimes covered again by lava. But a world of water is clearly spreading. Rain wears down the higher ground and carries rock toward the sea. Hot rivers flow through steep valleys and fall into the ocean below. The spray mixes with the rain until it becomes difficult to see where the sky ends and the sea begins. Across more time, the rain slowly changes. Some regions remain beneath heavy storms, while others begin to grow calmer. The clouds thin in a few places. Pale sunlight reaches the ocean. The water reflects it with a dark silver glow. It is not yet the blue ocean of the modern earth. The sky remains thick, and the sea holds many dissolved materials. But the planet is no longer the red world of fire. You look across the young ocean. Dark islands of rock rise above the water. Waves strike them Again and again, the moon, still much closer than today, pulls strongly upon the sea. The tides rise over the rocky shores and then withdraw, carrying material back into the water. The rain created the ocean, and the moon now moves it. Together, they continue, changing the earth. Far away, dark clouds still cover the horizon. Curtains of rain fall into the distance. The storm has not ended. Volcanoes continue to release vapor into the atmosphere. The vapor forms clouds. The clouds create rain, and the water returns to the ground. The water cycle has begun. Ocean, vapor, cloud, rain, and ocean again. A cycle that will continue for billions of years. Perhaps some of the rain falling outside your window has traveled through this planet for longer than you can imagine. But here, in this ancient age, that journey has only just begun. You watch the ocean continue to spread beneath the rain. Earth slowly cools and moves toward a calmer future. The world of red fire fades into the past. In its place, there are thick clouds, endless rain, and the first ocean stretching toward the horizon. You rise slowly from the water, passing upward through the clouds. Below you, the young earth remains wrapped in gray. Through small openings, you can see the dark ocean, and around the planet, the moon continues along its quiet path. Earth is no longer a red ball of fire. It is still hot, still violent, and still without life. But now, there is water. Rain has filled the lowest places, and the first great oceans have begun to form. Within those oceans, another story will soon begin. For now, nothing moves beneath the surface, only darkness, hot rock, and countless materials mixing slowly, unseen, and without witness. The first steps toward life may already be beginning. The rain continues to fall, one drop and then another, filling the seas of the young earth. There is no need to hurry. You simply watch the quiet transformation. Wrapped in the sound of rain, you gaze upon the cloud-covered planet beside its moon. From a world of fire to a world of water, Earth is moving slowly toward a blue future, and you continue to drift above the young planet, deeper and deeper into the vastness of time. Chapter 4: Earth's First Oceans. The rain has finally begun to grow quieter. For millions of years, water fell without rest, covering the young earth in endless storms. Now, the clouds are beginning to open. Little by little, you rise through the fading mist and look down at a world completely transformed. Below you, an immense ocean stretches farther than your eyes can follow. The horizon seems endless. There are no continents as you know them, no green forests, no sandy beaches, no familiar coastline, only water and scattered fields of black volcanic rock. The world has become an ocean. You drift lower until you are floating just above the surface. Small waves move gently beneath you. Their rhythm is slow, almost like breathing. There is no sound of birds, no insects, no wind passing through trees, only the quiet movement of water touching ancient stone again and again. The ocean before you is unlike any sea you have ever known. It is not bright blue, nor perfectly clear. Its surface appears dark, almost black, reflecting the unfamiliar sky above. Beneath the water, the young earth still holds the warmth of its birth. In places, thin columns of steam continue to rise, where hidden lava meets the sea. The surface shimmers softly as warmth escapes from the planet below. You slowly reach out toward the water. Your fingertips barely touch the surface. Gentle circles spread outward. One ripple becomes another until they disappear into the endless sea. Nothing disturbs the peaceful rhythm. The waves continue their ancient journey without hurry, without end. Ahead of you, dark volcanic cliffs rise from the water. Their surfaces are rough, freshly formed, and untouched. No moss softens their edges. No flowers bloom between the cracks. Only black stone, shaped by fire and cooled by countless ages of rain. The waves approach quietly, touch the rocks, and slowly retreat over and over again. The ocean has already begun its patient work, though no living creature exists to witness it. Water is gently smoothing the land, one wave, one ripple, one moment at a time. You lift your eyes and toward the sky. It feels unfamiliar. The color is nothing like the blue sky. You know today there is almost no oxygen. The air is rich with carbon dioxide, water vapor, and volcanic gases. Sunlight passes through this ancient atmosphere, changing its color. Sometimes the sky appears gray, sometimes it glows with soft bronze or muted shades of orange. Near the horizon, everything seems wrapped in a gentle haze. The entire world feels quiet, dreamlike, and impossibly old. The young sun shines above, yet its light is softer, filtered by the thick atmosphere. Across the ocean, silver reflections dance quietly upon the dark water. You simply watch as light and water move together without a sound. Time seems different here. Nothing changes quickly. A single wave takes its time, reaching the shore. Clouds drift slowly across the sky. The ocean breathes peacefully as millions of years pass almost unnoticed. You begin to follow the shoreline, floating gently beside the ancient coast. The black rocks stretch for countless miles. Broken cliffs meet quiet coves. Fresh lava flows still appear in the distance. Their faint red glow reminds you that deep beneath the sea, Earth remains alive. Far below, the planet's interior continues to move. New crust forms, old crust sinks. The surface may appear peaceful, but beneath it, great forces are still shaping the future world. You pause and look once more across the endless sea. There is something deeply calming about its silence. No voices, no footsteps, no cities, no ships, only water meeting stone under an ancient sky. The moon, still much closer than it is today, hangs above the distant horizon. Its gravity gently pulls in upon the ocean. The tides rise higher than anything seen on the modern earth. Slowly, the water climbs over the black rocks. Then, just as gently, it begins to fall, leaving behind small pools between the stones. For a while, they remain perfectly still, reflecting the strange colors of the ancient sky. Then another wave quietly arrives, and they become part of the ocean. Once again, you continue drifting farther from shore. The land gradually disappears until only water surrounds you. In every direction, the horizon forms a perfect circle. It feels as though you are floating at the beginning of the world itself. Below the surface, the ocean grows darker. Sunlight can only travel so far. A short distance beneath you, the water becomes deep blue-gray, then darker still, until everything fades into shadow. You gaze downward, wondering what lies far below. The deep ocean remains hidden. Its secrets have never been seen by any living eye. Yet something is quietly changing in the darkness. Warm water continues to rise from cracks in the ocean floor. Mineral flow upward into the sea. Invisible currents carry them through the silent depths. No life exists yet. No fish swim through these waters. No coral grows upon the rocks. No whales sing beneath the waves. The ocean is completely silent, yet it does not feel empty. Instead, it feels as though the planet is patiently waiting, preparing for something still far away. You close your eyes and for a moment and simply listen. The gentle rhythm of the waves, the quiet splash against distant rocks, the soft whisper of water moving across the surface. It is a sound that has continued for billions of years, long before the first tree, long before the first dinosaur, long before the first human. The ocean was already here, breathing slowly beneath the sky. You open your eyes once more. The young earth stretches before you, peaceful, ancient, and filled with quiet possibility. Somewhere, far beneath these calm waters, deep within the warm darkness, a new chapter is preparing to begin. Soon, your journey will leave the peaceful surface and descend into the deepest parts of Earth's first ocean, where sunlight has never reached, where heat still rises from the planet itself, and where, hidden from every eye, the first signs of life are waiting to appear. Chapter 5: The First Signs of Life. You leave the gentle waves behind and slowly begin to descend into the ancient ocean. Sunlight still dances upon the surface above, but with every passing moment, the light grows weaker. The water around you becomes darker and quieter. The world above slowly disappears. Only the endless sea surrounds you now. You continue downward without hurry. The pressure quietly increases. The silence becomes deeper. There are no fish, no coral reefs, no drifting jellyfish. Nothing moves beside you. This ocean has never known life. It is a world of darkness, stone, and water alone. The last traces of sunlight fade away. Above you, the surface has become a distant memory. Below, there is only blackness. Yet this darkness is not empty. Deep beneath the ocean floor, the young earth is still alive. Its heart continues to release immense heat. Slowly, you begin to notice a faint glow far below. It is not the light of the sun. It is the heat of the planet itself. You drift closer toward the source. The rocky sea floor gradually appears before you. Great cracks stretch across the ancient crust. From those fractures, superheated water bursts upward, forming towering columns of shimmering minerals. These are the first hydrothermal vents of the young Earth. The water emerging from them is far hotter than the surrounding sea. It carries countless minerals drawn from deep Within the planet, dark clouds of dissolved metals rise slowly before mixing into the ocean. Everything moves with remarkable calm. There are no explosions, no violent storms, only warm water, slowly rising through the darkness. The ocean gently carries these minerals away across millions of years. The same process continues again and again. Around these vents, something extraordinary is beginning. The ocean is rich with minerals. The heat never truly disappears. Water, rock, and energy meet together in one quiet place. Tiny chemical reactions begin to repeat over and over again. No eyes can see them, no ears can hear them. The changes are far too small for human senses, yet they continue patiently, without rest. Among these reactions, simple molecules join together, then separate, then join again. The process takes an unimaginably long time. There are no miracles, no sudden moment when life simply appears, only countless small changes spread across millions of years. At last, something remarkable begins to happen. Some tiny structures become slightly more stable. They are still far from living creatures, but they endure a little longer than before. They gather simple materials from the surrounding water. They change ever so slightly. Then they divide quietly, almost invisibly. The first ancestors of life have begun. They are far too small to see with your own eyes. Even if you searched the entire ocean, you would never notice their existence. Yet they are there, floating gently between the minerals, around the warm vents. The entire future of life on Earth now rests inside this invisible world. No plants have appeared, no animals swim through the sea. There are no forests waiting beyond the shore. Everything that will one day cover the earth begins here, among organisms smaller than a grain of dust. You imagine this hidden world, millions, then billions of tiny microorganisms quietly multiplying across the seafloor. They continue their slow work. No sound marks their arrival. No great light announces their existence. The universe remains silent, as though it hardly notices that life has begun. You remain motionless, watching the darkness around you. Warm water continues to rise. Minerals drift through the sea. Tiny organisms continue their invisible journey. Millions of years pass, then tens of millions, then hundreds of millions. Still, the ocean floor changes very little. The same warm vents continue to release their energy. The same microscopic life continues to grow, slowly, patiently, age after age. Nothing rushes. Everything moves at the gentle pace of deep time. These tiny organisms do not know what they will become. They cannot imagine forests, flowers, birds, or human beings. Yet every living thing that will ever exist shares a distant connection to this quiet beginning. You slowly rise a short distance above the seafloor. Looking back, the hydrothermal vents continue their endless work. Warm water flows upward through the darkness like gentle chimneys hidden beneath an ancient sea. The first life continues without celebration, without witness, without sound. Only the ocean knows what has begun. You quietly drift away, leaving the ancient vents Behind you, the darkness remains peaceful. The water moves gently around you. The first chapter of life continues to unfold, so slowly that even millions of years feel like a single quiet breath. Far above, beyond the endless water, the surface of the young earth waits, unaware that everything has just changed. The planet still appears empty, but deep below, hidden beneath miles of ocean, life has quietly arrived, and over the ages, it will slowly begin to transform the entire world. The journey has only just begun. Chapter 6: A World Before Oxygen. You slowly leave the quiet darkness of the deep ocean behind you. The hydrothermal vents continue their endless work. The first tiny forms of life remain hidden, far beneath the waves. Patiently, they continue their silent journey. You begin to rise through the ancient sea. The water around you grows brighter, little by little, until at last, the faint light of the young sun appears above. You gently break through the surface. A vast ocean stretches toward every horizon. The waves rise and fall beneath an unfamiliar sky. You look upward and immediately notice how different this world feels. There is no blue sky waiting above you, no clear air filled with oxygen. The atmosphere is still rich with carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor, and volcanic gases. These ancient gases scatter sunlight in a very different way. The sky glows with strange colors. Sometimes it appears deep purple, sometimes dark red. At other moments, soft shades of bronze and orange spread across the horizon. It is beautiful, yet strangely unfamiliar. Nothing about this sky would feel like home. You take a slow breath, only to remember that no human could survive here. There is almost no oxygen. Every breath would be impossible. Within moments, life as you know it would come to an end. This is still a planet made for stone, water, and microscopic life. Not for people, not yet. The wind begins to grow stronger. Dark clouds gather overhead, across the distant horizon. Towering storms rise into the ancient sky. Lightning briefly illuminates the clouds before disappearing into darkness. Thunder rolls across the endless ocean. The waves respond slowly, growing higher with each passing hour. The young moon, still closer than it is today, pulls powerfully upon the sea. Enormous tides sweep across the rocky shores. The ocean never truly rests. Even during its quietest moments, the water is always moving, always changing, always reshaping the young earth. Far away, a volcano erupts. A dark column of ash rises high into the atmosphere. Fresh gases pour into the sky, adding once again to the thick blanket surrounding the planet. The earth continues to breathe through fire. Even after billions of years, its heart remains warm. Below the waves, new crust is still forming. Above the waves, storms continue their endless dance. Everything appears powerful, yet strangely peaceful. There are no forests to bend in the wind, no birds to escape the storm, no animals searching for shelter. The entire planet belongs only to the sea, the sky, the rocks, and the tiny life hidden far below. Millions of years pass, then tens of millions, then hundreds of millions. The world changes very slowly. The storms continue. The volcanoes continue. The oceans continue. The microscopic organisms deep beneath the surface continue their quiet work. Generation after generation, they multiply, almost unnoticed, across unimaginable spans of time. The sky remains without oxygen. The sea remains wild. The atmosphere remains heavy. To human eyes, it might seem as though nothing is changing, but hidden within the smallest forms of life, something remarkable is already beginning. The tiny organisms living beneath the waves have started to discover a new way to gather energy very slowly. Some of them begin using the light of the young sun. Without knowing it, they are preparing to change the entire planet. Their work is invisible. Their numbers are unimaginably small, but time is on their side. The earth waits patiently. 1 million years means little. 10 million years passes like a quiet afternoon. 100 million years is only another step along the journey. You continue floating above the restless sea, watching the strange colors of the ancient sky, the deep purple clouds, the reddish horizon, the endless dark water. Everything feels beautiful, ancient, and untouched. The wind gradually becomes calmer. The towering waves settle once again. Soft ripples spread across the endless ocean. The storms have passed. For now, the silence returns. Only the movement of water remains. You realize you are looking at a world that no human will ever witness. A world before breathable air, before blue skies, before forests, before birdsong, before every familiar sound. Yet hidden within this harsh planet, life continues its patient work. Tiny organisms, far beneath the waves, are quietly changing the future, one invisible cell after another, one generation after another, 1 million years after another. They ask for nothing. They make no sound, yet they are preparing the greatest transformation Earth will ever experience. The purple sky will not remain forever. The heavy atmosphere will slowly change. The oceans will one day carry something they have never known before. Oxygen, it will arrive so gradually that no single moment will announce its beginning, but over countless ages, the sky itself will begin to change color, and your journey will continue toward that quiet, extraordinary transformation. Chapter 7. The sky slowly turns blue. You remain floating quietly above the ancient sea. The great storms have finally grown calmer. The towering waves still roll across the ocean, but they no longer feel as fierce as they once did. The sky above is still unfamiliar. Deep shades of purple, soft red, and muted bronze stretch across the horizon. The air is still heavy with ancient gases, and yet, without anyone noticing, the earth has already begun to change, not through violent eruptions, nor through towering mountains or endless storms, but through countless tiny lives hidden beneath the quiet waves far below where sunlight still reaches. Vast communities of microscopic organisms cover the shallow seas. They are called cyanobacteria. You cannot see each tiny cell with your own eyes, but together they form soft green mats clinging gently to the ancient rocks. Morning after morning, they greet the rising sun. Without thought, without intention, they quietly perform the same simple task again and again. They capture the sunlight, they draw carbon dioxide from the water, and almost unnoticed, they release something entirely new: oxygen. At first, there is almost none. Each tiny bubble disappears into the sea without changing the world above. The ocean accepts every breath as though keeping a secret. You drift lower until you are just beneath the surface. Sunlight filters softly through the water. Golden rays dance around you. Tiny streams of oxygen begin their journey through the sea, invisible, silent, patient. The oxygen does not rise into the sky, not yet. Instead, it meets something waiting within the ancient ocean: iron. For countless ages, the sea has carried vast amounts of dissolved iron hidden within the dark water. It has waited for this very moment. As oxygen touches the iron, a quiet transformation begins. The clear water slowly fills with delicate clouds of rust-red color. One tiny reaction becomes another, then another. Across millions of square miles, the ocean begins to blush. You look down at the seafloor. Layer after layer of brilliant red minerals slowly settles upon the ancient rock. Each thin layer marks another quiet day, another quiet century, another quiet million years. No one is there to celebrate. No voice announces this remarkable change. The earth simply continues its patient work. The red layers grow thicker, century after century, million years after million years. Eventually, they become great bands of iron-rich stone, sleeping quietly beneath the oceans. Long after humanity appears, people will discover these ancient rocks, never realizing they are reading the diary of Earth's first breath. You slowly rise once more toward the surface. The sea has changed. Its waters feel different. Little by little, the iron has been consumed. Now, more oxygen remains free within the ocean. The tiny cyanobacteria continue their endless work, morning after morning, age after age. They never hurry, they never stop. Each sunrise brings another quiet gift, another breath for the planet. Millions of years pass, then hundreds of millions. The oceans can no longer hold all the oxygen. Very slowly, it begins to escape into the atmosphere. The change is almost impossible to notice. At first, the sky looks exactly the same: purple, bronze, gray. The days continue as they always have. Then, one distant morning, you notice something different. Near the horizon, a faint ribbon of pale blue appears. It is so gentle that you wonder if it is only your imagination. Another million years passes. The blue returns, this time lasting a little longer. Century after century, the ancient colors begin to retreat. The purple sky softens, the bronze haze grows thinner, the clouds become brighter, the sunlight feels clearer. The atmosphere is changing, not in a single day, not even in a single age, but through billions upon billions of tiny breaths given freely by invisible life. You continue watching as the heavens transform. The blue spreads farther, each passing era, until one day you find yourself standing beneath a sky that almost feels familiar. For the first time, the earth begins to resemble the home you have always known. Above you, soft white clouds drift peacefully across the endless sea. The blue sky is reflected upon gentle waves. The world then seems brighter, lighter, full of possibility. You take a slow look around you. No forests have appeared, no birds fill the air, no flowers bloom upon the land. And yet, everything has changed because the sky itself has learned to breathe. The quiet work of microscopic life has rewritten an entire planet. The air, the oceans, the rocks, even the light falling upon the waves has become something new. You close your eyes and for a moment, feeling the gentle breeze upon your face, this same oxygen will one day fill the lungs of every animal that has yet to exist. It will lift the wings of birds, feed the great forests, carry the songs of whales, and someday allow human beings to stand beneath this same blue sky, looking upward with wonder. You open your eyes. Once more, the earth is no longer simply surviving. It is becoming a living world, and your journey through deep time is almost complete. Only one final chapter remains, a quiet moment to drift across billions of years and watch the story of our planet fade gently into the stars. Chapter 8, Drifting Through Deep Time. You remain quietly floating upon the endless ocean. The water moves gently beneath you. Its rhythm is calm, steady, and timeless. Above you, the sky has finally become a familiar shade of blue. Soft white clouds drift peacefully across the heavens. The storms that once ruled this young planet have faded into distant memory. For a long while, you simply watch the sunlight dancing across the quiet waves. It is difficult to believe how much has changed. When your journey began, this world was a glowing sphere of fire. Its surface was covered by rivers of lava. The sky burned red. Day and night looked almost the same. Giant asteroids struck the Earth without mercy. The planet felt restless, young, and unfinished. Then came the great collision. A world crashed into another, and from that unimaginable impact, the moon was born. You watched as it slowly settled into the night sky, remaining beside the earth through every age that followed. You remember the endless rain that fell for millions of years, every drop cooling the surface, every storm helping shape the first oceans. You floated above those ancient seas before a single fish had ever swum, before a single leaf had ever grown. The world felt impossibly quiet, only waves touching black volcanic rocks beneath an unfamiliar sky. Then, far below, hidden within the deep ocean, you witnessed one of the quietest miracles in all of history. Tiny forms of life appeared, so small they could never be seen with human eyes. Yet those invisible organisms would become the ancestors of every living thing that would ever exist. You watched as they quietly worked through countless ages, changing the chemistry of the sea, releasing oxygen one tiny breath at a time. Slowly, The oceans changed. Then the sky began to change as well. Purple became pale. Bronze became blue. The earth learned to breathe. You smile softly, knowing that you have just witnessed billions of years pass before your eyes, not in haste, but with patience, one gentle moment after another. The waves continue their endless song, just as they did at the beginning. You slowly lift your eyes toward the evening sky. The sun begins to sink beneath the horizon. Warm golden light spreads gently across the ocean. The first stars appear, one by one. Above you, the moon still watches, its ancient companion, just as it has for billions of years. Its soft light shimmers across the quiet sea. You begin to imagine the future, still hidden, far beyond this peaceful night. Hundreds of millions of years will pass. The empty oceans will welcome their first fish. Simple plants will slowly spread across the land. Forests will rise toward the sky. Insects will fill the warm air. Great reptiles will wander across ancient continents. One day, giant dinosaurs will shake the ground with every step. For millions of years, they will rule this remarkable planet until their own chapter quietly comes to an end. The earth will continue moving forward, always changing, always beginning again. Small mammals will emerge from the shadows. They too will slowly grow and change. Across countless generations, new creatures will appear. One day, without the earth ever planning it, human beings will open their eyes beneath this same sky. They will wonder where they came from. They will cross vast oceans, climb mountains, study the stars, and someday they will look back through time, trying to understand how this beautiful world first began. Perhaps they will imagine standing exactly where you are now, watching the first oceans, listening to the first waves, feeling the quiet breath of a young planet. You gently close your eyes, and for a moment, the sound of the water continues softly around you, wave after wave, breath after breath. The ocean never rushes. It simply continues, as it always has, since the earliest days of the earth. You take one final look across the horizon. The stars shine more brightly now. Their light has traveled for millions, even billions of years before reaching your eyes. You realize that the story of the earth is only one chapter within an even greater story, the story of the universe itself, a story still unfolding with every passing moment. You allow yourself to drift a little farther. The waves carry you gently across the quiet sea. There is nowhere you need to go, nothing you need to do, only this peaceful moment, only the sound of the ancient ocean, only the stars watching silently above. The earth will continue its long journey, long after tonight, long after tomorrow, long after every human memory has faded. The waves will still reach the shore. The moon will still rise. The stars will still shine. And somewhere within every breath, every drop of water, and every living thing, the memory of this young world will quietly remain. Now, the ocean grows calmer. The stars become softer. The gentle rhythm of the waves begins to slow. Your journey through 4.6 billion years has come to a peaceful end. So let yourself drift a little farther. Breathe slowly. Feel the quiet of the ancient sea. And as the waves carry you gently into the endless night, allow yourself to fall into a deep, peaceful sleep.